Friends and Family Credit Union, and Bell Stores. Welcome to the high school football playbook. Mark alongside the legend that is TJ Downing, number 72. And TJ, I tell you, there were some great games this weekend, but how fun was it getting into the booth again to call a game?
It was. Sometimes it feels too long. I mean, we go all off season just hoping and praying for football to get back here quick enough, unless you're a baseball fan and something that sustains you through the off season. No, it was fun to get out there with you, get out with our buddy number 13, who we here, I guess.
He's MIA today, but he'll be here next week.
Supposedly he's coming back next week, so get ready. I'm sure viewership will go through the roof for next week's show.
Hey, and speaking of the games, when you go back to when you played in high school, which wasn't all that long ago, you think about the temperatures that we had. I mean, I don't ever remember it being that hot when you played, but it was cooking when you were up in that press box at Alliance, wasn't it?
Typically,
you were glistening, you and Jim.
Yeah, right. Yeah, my wife up there, she was glistening. She couldn't get her to make a decision on player of the game, but I digress. No, it was pretty bad up there. I actually we were taping trash bags up alongside the windows there to kind of block some equipment from overheating, and it was very warm. I do remember having some pretty warm openers. We actually played Menor, which was kind of a Friday Night Lights thing, a special that they did. They had it Saturday morning and did a whole festival all day long. And it was pretty warm out there for that stuff. So, early on in the season, typically it's bad for you down there on the field because it's coming up. And for us, in Dom Capers' press box, it was a scorcher.
And you took dropping the mic to a whole new level in this game.
Yeah, there was a mic drop in this game. I was just trying to put an exclamation point on Will Butler's performance out in the Lions.
Well, you know what? Speaking of that game, let's talk about our Hackenberg Financial Group, the weekend review. It was Lake 41, Alliance 14. And this one started out slow, TJ. I mean, it was 13-0 at halftime. But, boy, that second half, Lake really decided that they were going to put it to them.
Yeah, I don't want to really say that it started out slow because, to me, I think the pace that Alliance came out with.
Scoring-wise, at least.
Scoring-wise, it was, but they really hurt themselves because they moved downfield well. There was a point in that game where it could have been 21-0. They shoot themselves in the foot on that first drive. They drive all the way down into the red zone, get pushed back out. Just penalties that you typically see in the first week of the season. Shorter training camps now. They had 2 weeks of two-a-days. So you expect some stuff like this to happen. Alliance, though, to me, they were in it all the way into the half. And then when you come out of half and you see what Cale Jarvis did, which I called during our broadcast a wake-up call, because Will Butler kind of came in and stole the show. Lake had some opportunities. Cale Jarvis and the offense couldn't complete it or get it finished on drives. Will Butler comes in, and you saw there was a whole new pep in the step of those Lake Blue Streaks on offense. What Will brought to the team on defense as well was the reason he was our player of the game. Now, if you look at what happens with Cale Jarvis coming out of the half, he leads them down the field, big touchdown, and the game was over from there. Alliance, you could say they were in it the third quarter, but after that drive, the game was over to me.
I think when you look at that Lake defense, kind of like the old Dallas Cowboys, that flex defense, they gave up some yardages, but when they needed to stop them, they did it. But I was so impressed with what Lake was doing, and I love Matt Solberger.
Yeah.
I mean, 111 yards, had a touchdown, and you talked about Will Butler. But when I go back to that game, one of the plays that really stood out for me was Nate Baker. And I think this was in the fourth quarter. He got that pass, and he was on maybe the 10-yard line. The moves that he made down there, I mean, it was like Madden.
He shook you down. I saw you in the back of the end zone, and you fell over. I was worried about you. I'm like, man down. We need the EMT out there for the pony. No, it was impressive. I mean, 2 or 3 guys sitting right there between him and the goal line, and he made them all look silly to get in there. A lot of guys really stepped up for me, though, Mark. When you talk about the Lake defense, Sedmock, his big interception, he had a big a completion for a touchdown,
right.
And I believe that was on a 4th and 8. He slides into the back of the end zone and catches a touchdown. So a lot of different contributors. Dylan Schneider played a big game. Sedmock was there. Nathan Baker was involved. Will Butler, another guy. You talked about Solberger. Solberger and Evan Brady, both throughout that game, were a little bit banged up. Evan Brady, just with the way he was playing for the linebacker position. Solberger with his physical style of run. Don't know if it was something going on with his left arm, but both of those two gentlemen came out of the game early after getting dinged up. So interested to see how they bounce back from Maple Heights this week, because you're going to need all hands on deck.
Boy, I tell you, Lake would love to have Ty Miller in this game, too. He didn't play there, but other guys stepped up for him. Looking at this Alliance team, they've got a lot of studs that are over there, but their quarterback, number 4, Brendan Zerbrug, Wow, this kid's going to be special, and he's only a junior.
Yeah, it was impressive to me to see how he just, as a junior, I get that he had a great year last year as a sophomore and showed people why he's going to be recruited heavily. But as a junior, when you want to kind of get a grasp on this team and let guys know that you're the real leader, you do things like he did on that big touchdown run he had early in the ball game, where he cut back against the grain, came back into the field, took contact at the goal line from 2 Lake defenders, and got into the end zone. There's no way more for a quarterback to gain the respect of his teammates than to put his butt on the line like that, and Zurbrugg did that. He's a physical runner. When he gets going downhill, there's a lot going on there, and he's got a live arm too.
Boy, we had a little scary moment in this game with Kayvon Davis coming over the middle, caught the pass, went and got tackled. Now, Tim Goodman said that he was pretty good as the game started to go on, didn't come back in. He said, but he was going to be okay, and I think he's going to be ready to play again this Friday.
Yeah, this is a really good team here with Alliance. I mean, Miles, he had some big plays. You know, Kayvon, the way he kind of throws his body around there, as big as he is, I joked with Sam Berkman earlier today. I said he looks like a little mini Andre Johnson out there. You put him out there on the outside, one-on-one coverage, all Zurbrugg has to do is throw it up to him. He was doing a little bit too much on that play, coming back there trying to make 2 or 3 guys miss. He was going horizontal when he should have been going vertical, and he took a bad shot. You know, good to hear that Coach Goodman feels he will be back.
Yeah, I'll tell you another big game. Moeller and Maslin. And you knew Moeller was going to be loaded coming into this game. And when I look at this Moeller team, you know, I knew that they were going to be able to run the football. I didn't think that they were going to be able to throw it the way that they did. I mean, they put over 300 yards up in passing offense, plus their outstanding running back, who's probably going to go to Ohio State.
Yeah, this is not going to make our good friend J.P. Simon from the Tiger Store, from Simon Says Promotions, from about 10 other different businesses inside the city of Maslin happy, because his defensive line got pushed around a little bit. You know, Marcus Moore is a guy up front who's counted on to go both ways, but, you know, sometimes last year when he was really starting to flex his muscle, he didn't have to worry about going and playing both ways. Now you're taking a little bit of gas out of his tank. I don't know if that was the biggest factor in this game, other than also the Moeller team. They're as big and physical as they've probably been in the last 25 years. Playmakers all over the field, like you mentioned. And with an offensive line like Maslin's that has graduated a good bit of guys from last year, you're replacing both your tackles, Todrick Lee and Tajamir Nash, who were pretty good tackles. I think maybe the best tackle combo inside of the county. You know, there's going to be some things that you're going to have to get ironed out. You knew you were going to have a tough time against Moeller. How do you bounce back this week against Glen Oak as the true sign?
Well, I'll tell you one thing was good. Wiltrell Hartson had over 100 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns in this game. I think Jalen Slaughter played well. Probably one of the more impressive things, if you want to take something away from this, Maslin may be one of the most penalized teams here in Stark County last year. 2 penalties in this game, and that was it. Moeller, on the other hand, had 129 yards in penalties in this game.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's interesting to see how things shake out in a ball game. We know typically turnover margin is going to win you the ball game. Sometimes penalties like that, you know, we're going to get a chance to talk about some certain games around the area where teams do shoot themselves in the foot, because every year you can count on them having those penalties. Good thing for Maslin that they've gotten that corrected here already in week 1. Now, again, it's about getting into the win column. Got a big one coming up here against Glen Oak this week, who had a nice victory.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Ardell Banks had a nice game. He had, and Maslin had some big plays. He had a kick return for a touchdown in this one. But this is a Maslin team that's loaded with talents. Like you said, you can have all those skilled guys out there, but if at the point of the tack that you're not strong there, that's why I got to make sure I take care of number 72.
You know, Sam Snodgrass is now going to bump out to tackle. You're going to have Marcus Moore at tackle. You've done a whole reshuffle of the offensive line. So you want to be able to get those guys locked and loaded here early in the season. And I think a guy who you mentioned, like a Zach Liebler, who is a name, who's a legacy, kind of like your guy Flounder from Animal House, right? Liebler, the legacy. He's a guy that's kind of the heart and soul of this team. He was named captain for a reason as a junior, because he's got those guys' attention. He's a guy that'll rally the troops after this loss.
Tell you what, when we come back, we have more Stark County football, so stay tuned.
I'm Ed Murray, an attorney with Krugliak, Wilkins, Griffiths, and Doherty. Our lawyers have a connection to the sport of football, and in particular, high school football. One of our founding members, Stu Wilkins, was inducted into the Stark County High School Football Hall of Fame. Partners Ron Doherty and Randy Hunt are heavily involved with the Pro Football Hall of Fame Museum. We understand the hard work and passion it takes to build a successful team on and off the field. Our firm is very proud to support all of the athletes and this program.
The field has responded like a natural turf field.
This is a unique product. It's different than anything we've been on. In my mind, it's the best quality product I've seen.
My name is Jim Ballard, retired NFL quarterback and 2008 College Football Hall of Fame inductee from the University of Mount Union. I'm the owner and head coach of Ballard Quarterback Academy. I am privately tutoring more than 40 high school starters across the state, in addition to numerous youth, middle school, and college quarterbacks through field instruction, game preparation and evaluation, and development of leadership skills. For more, go to ballardquarterbackacademy.com or call 330-327-1807. To be the best, train the champion's way at Ballard Quarterback Academy.
You can't spell Jackson without a J, and how excited are we that Jackson won? How about that's a great segue. I mean Jay Rohr wins his first game over there, but this was not easy. I mean, this started out, I thought it was going to be a runaway. It was 20-0, and then all of a sudden East wakes up and they score 4 touchdowns, I think, in 12 minutes.
Right, and again, we talked about the penalties in the first segment. Typically, you can count on Akron East coming down and having 8 to 10 penalties in the first week of the season. They've always put on good shows with Jackson. They put on good shows with all the Federal League teams. I think they had 4 or so on the schedule last year. We knew this was going to be a good game. I knew it was going to be fun for Jay getting out there. Glad to see that was one of our Stark Media YouTube stream games of the week. Got out there with Jeff Tyler afterwards. He was comparing Jason Davide to Nick Chubb and got a couple chuckles out of Jay Rohr, which if anybody knows Jay, he doesn't laugh a whole lot. I'm happy for him, and I think he's going to have things going in the right direction. I don't know much about what Mayfair brings to the table, but I know that he's got some toughness on this team. I think he's happy with his quarterback, Ethan Lesko. He seemed to perform well when they got into some tough situations. Dane McCready's with a huge catch. Shout out to his dad, who is our sponsor, finally here, Ohio.com, our player of the game. And Jason Davide was that. Big reason why? 3 touchdowns in the second half. That was the difference maker right there. Other than Dane McCready's catch. But the difference, 3 touchdowns from him. He was a player of the year for us last year, player of the game for us last year,
Yep.
Mark. When he came in there for Brennan Craig. I think Jay's game plan going into this was to have Jason solely playing safety. And that switched. As the first quarter went on, he didn't like where his team was at. He said, Jason, you're carrying the rock. And it paid off. Jay Rohr, first big coaching decision, pays off 32.
Yeah, I think you need to do that. And these two coaches know each other well, too. They both played. Marcus Hayes over at Akron East. They played together when they were at the University of Akron. Was really excited for
Mac
Jackson.
champs.
That's right. So, hey, to the Horsemen, go the spoils, yeah. The Polar Bears win their first one. This one, I was really excited for you. I always like it when your Golden Eagles are coming back. 51-14. This was the highest point total they had going back to 2014 when they had beaten Roosevelt, D.C. 55-8 in that game. How about your Golden Eagles? 464 yards rushing.
I like it. Are we playing for comeback player of the year, comeback team of the year? Right here.
Yeah, I thought that the Wings were going to come out.
Hey, I think Glen Oak, with what they bring physicality-wise now, with having Hennon come over there and kind of working with them inside of the weight room, they showed that they can grind the ball out on the ground. They've got Maslin primed for the picking right now. If you think about Glen Oak and what they can do offensively with Avante Burt and Adrian Burt, how about Avante? First play from scrimmage, takes it to the house. There's a different element of surprise. There's a different attack and game plan offensively that most teams are going to have to start to honor the quarterback run and pass because it is there, it's live, it's active. But this is the proving ground. Right? Shaker Heights, I expected Glen Oak to go up there and get a big victory. But now you're going to take a Maslin team that's a little pissed off about what happened last week.
Right.
They're going to come back. They want to get in the win column. You have them at home. That's big. Glen Oak community, if they turn out strong, they make it loud, put a little pressure on the Tigers over there. I like Glen Oak in this game.
That'll be a fun one. The Killer Bees, the Burt brothers, are going to be tough to beat this season. Menor 34, McKinley 21. This is a game, believe it or not, McKinley could have won this football game. I mean, they made mistakes, 12 penalties, 80 yards, but one of the things that I had found out that Keaton Rohde started out really hot, had a migraine in this game. And if for anybody that's out there, if you've ever had a migraine, the ability to focus and just to function, the fact that he continued to play in this game, speaks volumes. This kid's going to be okay. I don't get too crazy about him. I think he's really smart. I think he's got a good arm. He can beat you with his feet. But this was a game McKinley could have won.
Yeah, and to hear some of the comments from Antonio Hall in the moments after the game, saying he felt like they kind of self-imploded, self-sabotaged, and for Keaton Rhodey, really this being his first rodeo as the full-time starter, migraine or not, his boys around him got to pick him up. They got to be able to feel the energy from their quarterback, and I know you're replacing some different pieces on the offensive line. You and I talked about Big Ham and guys like that last week. How do you do that? How do you fill those spots? And there's still talent there. Garrett McCole, Riley, and Burt. Those guys, they're good ball players, right? But who's going to really step to the forefront of this team? And this isn't the best Mentor team that we've seen out there.
No.
So again, you have to be able to go on the road week one if you want to show that you feel your team's in a good spot, that you're back, that you're kind of coming back to some of that McKinley dominance. You got to get this victory.
Yeah, I like Sincere McNeil, and I think he's going to be one of those guys that are really going to wind up stepping up for them. How about Fairless? Fairless 31, Sandy Valley nothing. This was a game last year that went in. I think this one went into overtime, and they scored late at the in that game. But when you look at AJ Sarbaugh, good young coach, graduated with my son Matt.
The Fighting Sarballs.
Yeah, so this team's got a lot of guys that came back from last year, and you got Colucci back at quarterback, and there's a vowel at the end of his name, so I got to talk about my boy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and Eber, Fox, and Collier, my new lawyers over there at Fairless, the linemen, they get it done. I love the offensive line play. I love how physical they were at the point of attack. Colucci did a great job managing the game. He was able to put the ball in the right spots for Yoder and Pameo. I believe Yoder got banged up in that game. He felt better, kind of like we talked about with Kayvon Davis. He could have come back in. He actually stayed in. I believe it was a rib. And you could tell it affected him. This game was 24-0 at halftime. It only finished 31-0. So there wasn't huge production out of Fairless in the second half. Sad thing for Sandy Valley, though. You lose your starting quarterback, Nicky Petro, and that's really the difference in the ball game. He gives you an element. When I saw them come up in scrimmage North Canton, they were able to get some things done. Offensively, they didn't really provide anything all night.
Yeah, I think they were running with a freshman quarterback in there. They're going to have to regroup in this one. They're going to take on Akron Manchester, who lost 34-13 to Carrollton. But this Falcon team, ton of speed on the outside. When you look at Brody and Yoder, or Brody Pameo and Luke Yoder, both of those guys are track guys. They got great speed. This is going to be a fun team to watch this year.
They'll compete for the pack again.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Steubenville 21, Louisville nothing. People are saying, hey, why do you want to talk about Steubenville? Reno Sakach in this game, 402 victories. He is now the all-time winningest coach in Ohio high school history. You knew it was going to be tough for the Leopards going down there. Peyton Hill, their quarterback, was 11 for 20, 232 yards, 3 touchdowns. That Big Red defense limited Louisville to 102 yards in offense, TJ.
Yeah, and I think Louisville, they played, Steubenville pretty tough for what it was. I mean, to only lose 21-0, I think Louisville is probably going to come back, take a Poland team who's down right now, and probably compete in this ball game. We'll have that. That's going to be our Stark Media YouTube game of the week, so check out Drew Sarakman and Jeff Tyler bringing you Louisville Poland.
And if you're wondering who Reno Sakach passed, Jim France from Manchester High School. That's who you passed to be the all-time winningest coach. We're going to take a short break. We come back. We got our players of the week and then our games of the week, so stay tuned.
We're your neighbor.
We are drivers.
We are haulers. We are recyclers. We are collectors. We are sorters. We are communicators.
We are administrators.
We are navigators. We are supporters. We are heavy lifters.
We are hard workers.
We are early risers. We are late nighters.
We get the job done.
And we get it done right.
We are a team.
We are a family. We are Kimball.
We are Kimball. We are Kimball.
We are Kimball. Recycling and disposal done right.
Did you know that Alter Care Centers for Rehabilitation and Nursing Care specialize in short-term rehabilitation? After orthopedic surgery, you want rehabilitation care that will help you get better and get back home. Alter Care Centers offer expert orthopedic rehabilitation for people recovering from hip, knee, or shoulder surgery or injury. To learn more about our rehabilitation capabilities or to plan your post-surgery orthopedic rehab program, visit altercareonline.com.
Nick Bolton here with the latest from Bell & Howell. We call them Tack glasses. Inspired by the sunglasses worn by our heroes in uniform, tack glasses block blinding glare so well, invisible objects suddenly become visible. Enhance colors to give you vision as sharp as an eagle's and survive even the harshest conditions.
Act now to get your tack glasses for just $19.99, and we'll even ship it to you free. So don't delay. Order yours today.
Welcome back to the show. We talked about a lot of games. Now we got to talk about our Stark Media Players of the Week. And TJ, we got 6 of them over here. And I'll tell you what, you talk about quarterbacks in this area. Poochie Snyder from Canton South, 21 to 26, 331 yards, ran for a touchdown, threw for 2 more. Jason Davide, my boy over at Jackson, love Jason Davide, 145 yards, 3 touchdowns for the Polar Bears. Mason Ashby, boy, I tell you what, this kid's special from North Canton. 2 touchdown receptions, had a 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, 235 all-purpose yards that he had in this game. And we were wondering about what's going to happen with Green. New quarterback, Robbie Klockner did awfully well. 12 of 16, 252 yards, 5 touchdowns he had thrown for in this game. And Troy Harbeitner over at Tuslaw. I tell you what, this kid was good last year. We didn't talk a ton about him. 16 of 21. 256 yards, 3 touchdowns, ran for 2 touchdowns in their double overtime thriller over Canot Valley, whose head coach is
Donnie Hurtler.
Donnie Hurtler.
The thriller in Manila. Come on now, Donnie Hurtler. It's, Harbeitner's got a heck of a basketball game on him, too. I don't know. We got a chance to check out those Mustangs in the playoffs in the tournament. Pretty good player there. I'll tell you what, the thing for me, seeing how some of these guys really stepped up in the first week, you be a leader of the team. A lot of people were down and out on North Canton Hoover. After they saw them get pounded by Alliance in the scrimmage, or saying, North Canton's not going to be any good, and you mentioned Mason Ashby. When he took that ball back to the house, that was kind of that moment we said when Cale Jarvis came into the game to start the second half, Game over, right? Mason Ashby, when he took that thing, I believe it was 99 yards to the house.
99.
Game over, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure Dad Brian Ashby's up in the stands, pretty proud of his son there. So shout out to those Hoover Vikings.
And we got one other guy that's Player of the Week, Avante Burt from Glen Oak, with his 176 yards and 3 touchdowns. But not only these guys just great players, they get to take home some swag, don't they?
Yeah, no doubt. Shout out to the production team behind the scenes here at WIVM TV. I'll tell you what, that graphic up there of Stark Media, the logo looks good. All these players of the week, they're going to get a T-shirt courtesy of our friends over at Spirit of Stark. So shout out to all you guys. Mr. Burt, we'll see you on Friday nights. You might get 2 shirts.
Stark Media Players.
2 shirts. That means you beat Maslin. 2 shirts.
There you go. When we come back, we're going to have our Bell Store Games of the Week, so stay tuned.
At Friends and Family Credit Union, you, the members, are the owners. Our friendly staff serves over 11,000 members, assisting with their financial needs and bettering their lifestyles.
Hi, I'm Gina, President and CEO of Friends and Family Credit Union, where we provide loans, savings, checking, and other financial services to anyone who lives, works, worships, or attends school in Stark County.
Are you looking for something different? Stop in today to become a friend of the family.
My name is Jim Ballard, retired NFL quarterback and 2008 College Football Hall of Fame inductee from the University of Mount Union. I'm the owner and head coach of Ballard Quarterback Academy. I am privately tutoring more than 40 high school starters across the state, in addition to numerous youth, middle school, and college quarterbacks through field instruction, game preparation and evaluation, and development of leadership skills. For more, go to ballardquarterbackacademy.com or call 330-327-1807. To be the best, train the champion's way at Ballard Quarterback Academy.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing, because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty. You won't believe what ARW covers: heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, flat screens and laptops, even pools and spas, and so much more. Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
1-800-312-9958.
We're back in the 4th quarter of the show, our Bell Store Games of the Week, and the one that you've been waiting for, Maslin and Glen Oak. Dean Marini and I and Bob and Mike Tonjes were talking about this before you got into the studio. This was a 1-score game through 3 quarters of the game last year. and then Maslin kind of took over after
I
that.
better watch what I say here because Stark Media official HQ is now in downtown Maslin, so I don't want any eggs on the window when I show up tomorrow morning or Wednesday morning after they view it. But I think this is, you mentioned it was very competitive last year. A couple years before that, it had fallen off a little bit. But before that, give it 10, over the last 15 years, this was must-see football in Stark County. They were playing it as a Thursday night game. It was a feature. People were coming out. They were getting after it. I coached in one of these ball games. It's fun. I think Scott Garcia and his team are going to probably give Maslin as good of a test as they have in the last 6, 7, 8 years. Although they were in it last year, Glen Oak has more firepower this year, so I expect more fireworks.
I think that McKinley and Fitch are going to be similar to that one as well. This Fitch team is really good. They're 1-0 coming in. They won their first game 42-10 over a team from Nevada. But I think that this is a McKinley team maybe righting the ship in week 2 because people were talking about the fact they could start the season 0-3. That is not going to happen to this McKinley team.
No, I don't think so, but I knew it was going to be a grinder. We talked about it on the broadcast. After this game, you're going to take on Dublin Kaufman. It's not an easy road. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm one of the biggest fans of TJ Parker and the way that he runs his program at Fitch. I love the things that he does. I'm a huge fan of Antonio Hall. That's my brother right there. So I don't want to see either guy lose. I want to see these Bulldogs be able to get it done, as you mentioned, right the ship, because it's going to be a good season for McKinley. I want to see them compete inside of the Federal League. And as I mentioned, all year long, I think this is going to be one of the more competitive Maslin-McKinley games that we've seen in the last couple years, too.
I'll tell you another great game that we have here. Maple Heights at Lake. This was a game that was canceled last year because of COVID. We saw Maple Heights. They won our 7-on-7 tournament that we'd had over there. This is a good team. And Shaq Washington, I think as good of a player he is, I think he's going to be that good of a coach, too.
Yeah, he is. He's a great guy, and he's running a great program. They came down here, and they won the Kempthorne Kickoff Classic just about a month and a half ago. This is going to be primetime talent for the Lake Blue Streaks, but they just saw some primetime talent, too, with these Alliance Aviators. So when they cover down on them, I think they can cover down on Maple Heights. It's going to be a battle here. I'm expecting to see a big-time game. We thought we were going to see this last year with it getting canceled by COVID. I'm ready to see what happens here post-round 2. You can catch this game on 106.9. Our boy Sammy B and Jeff Shreve are going to be calling it, so check out the Stark Media guys over there this Friday.
Yeah, Maple Heights dropped a 72 burger last week on JFK. Marlington at Northwest, excellent number. Coventry spoiled Phil Morrow's debut as the head coach over at Marlington, but he's back, and I'll tell you what, this is not going to be an easy game for Marlington because this Northwest team is pretty good.
Yeah, they're big up front. I like a guy like Riley Plotner. I've had a chance to have some conversations with him before. He does a great job. You know, I'm interested to see what goes on here with this Northwest team. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but Austin Wright comes in there. He starts the first 2 series of the game. Obviously, everything's been made about Braden Mick and him not being eligible this season. And, you know, he's eligible to return week 8. So hopefully those coaches over there, they reach out to him and kind of get this young man going on the right direction. I know he's trying to get there. But Austin Wright comes in 2 series, and he gets pulled out of the game. And I don't even think he threw 1 pass in those 2 series. So what is the message here? Play the senior, or you opted to go with a sophomore and Chase Badger. I would have liked to seen Austin Wright get a full opportunity. This is a kid who's put into work. He's worked with our guy over at Ballard Quarterback Academy, Jim Ballard. He's gotten him right. I hope we get to see some more reps out of the senior Austin Wright. I think the offensive line gets these guys going in the right direction. And then Kyler Maraga, I mean, he's a player. He can run the ball well. I look for big things from Northwest this year.
I love both these coaches, DeMarco and Morrow. I mean, it could be a great Italian movie
Phil's
that we're going to make over there. Hey, we've got just a little bit of time left. Talk a little bit about Stark Media.
Oh, you know what? We had a great day today. We're up at Shaker Heights Country Club. Sam Berkwin rolling his daily show up there, spitballing with Sammy B. Got a chance to hang out with Bob Golick. Bernie Kozar came on. We had some great conversation pieces with those guys. So check out all the action on the YouTube channel, free YouTube channel. Subscribe, give it a like, follow, share. Stark Media team on social media. Appreciate everybody rolling alongside us.
Absolutely. And when you're listening to games this weekend, listen to us when we have that Glen Oak Maslin game.
Here we go, 99.7 FM.
If you can't be there, listen to us. Thank you for tuning in this week, and we'll see you next week again on the High School Football Playbook. For Mark Milano, TJ Downing, and the missing Jim Ballard. We'll be back next week. We'll see ya.
Stark Media Game of the Week.
Thanks for watching the High School Football Playbook, brought to you by Forever Lawn, the law firm of Krugliak, Wilkins, Griffiths, and Doherty, Kimball Companies, Alter Care, the Hackenberg Financial Group, Spitzer Chevrolet in North Canton, Friends and Family Credit Union, and Bell Stores.
Once in your life, you find her, someone who turns your